Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Reality Realness with 3 S's. I'm your host, Chantele Francis, with my co-host, Angelcake Drew. How are you doing today, Drew? How are you feeling?
I am doing well. Happy to be here on Friday talking about the challenge with you.
I mean, I do love my Fridays, like whatever we're doing it in the afternoon, like we are today, or if we're doing it in the evening, like we usually do. It is one of my favorite times to talk about the show. Fridays, I'm always like, Fridays. Yes, I get to hear Drew's opinion on this cast of players that people are trying to convince us are playing well and that we're supposed to stand. And in my opinion, they aren't. So tell me, Drew, what did you think about this week's gameplay?
It was bad. It's just bad. I don't know what I was at a loss for words during Tiny Table Talk, and I had to cut out quite a bit of what I said because I was legit just sitting there in silence for I don't know 30 seconds to 40 seconds trying to figure out what to say about this gameplay, and it's just like it baffles me. I don't think we've really ever seen this in the challenge, and I'm doing like a massive rewatch for a person that I'm doing a rewatch for, doing a
CT,
player documentary for,
CT, CT.
as well as kind of getting my rankings done because I'm going to do like this massive video series of ranking all 38 seasons and where I have them for like settled up. And this season is the most perplexing because so just we never see this. We never see just like players wanting to give up their spots this late in the game or trying to opt out of an easy game mechanic or just a basic game mechanic of just voting, of just saying names. And we can call these people legends all we want, but there are certain legends that were either on this season or not on this season that would never stoop this way and play the game this way. And I think it's just the most infuriating thing to me.
100%. And it's like the fact that Tori doesn't want to throw anybody, wants to throw herself in because she doesn't want to say Jordan or Casey's name, and Jordan wants to throw himself in because he will never say Tori. I'm like, what is this whole like not throwing that, like throwing themselves in to protect people that just won $500,000? Like obviously I'm not necessarily counting everybody's money. Like everybody needs money for different reasons. Most people on this season have won a significant amount of money in the challenge world. But like, why are you coming on and paired with an MVP and not allowing the MVP to play a game at all? Like now you're saying like, oh, Danny, you have to go improve yourself now. Like you made it through your entire last season going into the first elimination and then making it through another like 5 months or like I'm not 5 months, but like I guess 5 weeks of filming. And I'm like, that's your game, your whole game. The reason why you're so heavily protected is because you don't want to be thrown in, because you know that if you get thrown in often, there's a likelihood that you are going to go home. So like I was furious. Like I was like shaking and yelling at the TV because like I was just so annoyed. And then so annoyed with how Jordan was just so dismissive to Kaz. Like, yeah, you think that you're running the show and like it's because you're the best, challenger, you can choose to throw yourself in. But like he doesn't need to be that nasty to her. He's just like, if she didn't participate and win her season and do super well in the qualifier, she wouldn't even have picked him. So the fact that like she's being so disrespected it really put a terrible taste in my mouth with Jordan. Jordan had been like, I was annoyed with Jordan when I first met him on the seed and in his Real World season. And it took me a long time to not be irritated with him. And right now I'm back to irritation. So upset.
Well, and I think what's ultimately frustrating between them, like, I can't get too mad at Tori because she at least had a conversation and it seemed like a mature conversation with Danny. I know we didn't see the full conversation or how hard she pushed for it, but she kind of just floated the idea out to Theo and then took the idea to Danny. And it seemed like both parties were listening to each other. They both took each other into consideration. Whereas, like you were saying with Jordan, he basically told Casey, who is for sure on the block. It's either Jordan and Kaz and or Casey and Troy going to be nominated. going into this elimination against Darrell and Kiki. And he's basically saying, we're definitely doing it. We're definitely like, I'm never going to say your name. So we're going to be the ones that's going to go in. And then when he brings it up to Kaz, it's like, oh, it's already a done deal. It's already, we're done. Like, we're going in. And then it was really funny that he's like, if anybody knows about throwing themselves in, it's me. I did it that
And
one
lost.
season. And it's like, yeah, that's the worst that's the worst example ever. Like, I threw myself in and lost, and we were over halfway through the season at that point. But the circumstances are different. That was a solo season. You have a partner for a reason, and they get into this big fight in and out of confessionals at the poolside in front of Theo, all for it to not matter at the end of the day because they all just decided to do a stalemate and not vote anyway. So it's just like, I don't know. It's all frustrating.
So what do you think about this whole stalemate thing? Because TJ, the whole season, well, not the whole season, but when the first stalemate happened, he's like, this better never happen again. Better, like, or else. And like, it was some big empty threat because the stalemate happened again and nothing was different. Like, it just was like the winning team got to choose whomever. Like, where was the threat? What was so scary about not making a stalemate happen again?
I guess it's just the thought of like anybody is up for grabs at that point. Like, that's the worrisome that if
They
you
should
were
have just done this the whole season. Kellyanne should have forced friggin' stalemates.
Yes, I agree. And as an audience member, I agree that as an audience member, I would want there to be a change up in the stalemate rule, but I understand why MTV or Paramount would not change the rule this late in the game, as people could see it maybe being a little shady if they decided to change the rule after establishing the rule earlier on in the season. But how great would it have been if all the legends or the vets who were like, cool, we'll just do a stalemate. Why did we even come down here to like do the roundtable? To have them like a little bit on their toes or back of their heels if Darrell and Kiki were then given the shot of like
choosing their
able
partner.
to pick. But I understand why they didn't do it. And at the end of the day, it's the vets and the MVPs using the rules to their advantage. And I guess this is why Sarah wanted to see what the stalemate rules were going to be early on. And then, yeah. So, yeah. I can't fault them for that.
Now, if Darrell and Kiki were able to choose their opponent, who do you think they would have chosen?
Honestly, I don't think it matters. I think he could decide to go up against Jordan and Kaz just because of Darrell knowing how big of a threat Jordan is. And he may be thinking...
And he knows Kaz can't do math.
And he knows Kaz can't do math, and he could be sitting there going, like, we either win against them now, or they beat us now, or and we go home, or we beat them, and then we take out a really, really strong team right now. So I almost think that he goes Jordan and Kaz, because I don't think he's going to say Danny and Tori or Sarah and Theo. I know he's definitely not going to say Troy and Casey. Both of them wouldn't say Troy and Casey. So I know they're definitively not the ones that they would pick. And I almost wonder if he would pick Jordan and Kaz just because they are the bigger threats on the season.
Yes, I can see. I can make an excuse or a reason for any team, kind of. Hi, Lovable Nikki. Joanne is here. Willie's happy that we have an afternoon stream today because he's going to prom tonight. Prom.
Ooh.
God, we call it formals in Toronto or in Canada, but I love a good prom. I went to 2.
Oh, well, brag about it. I went to 1.
Jesus. Yes, everything is okay. I'm going to watch a comedy show tonight, and I think Drew had something to do this evening. So, yeah. Oh, perfect timing. Yes. I haven't watched yours yet because I want to be surprised by all your rants and reviews. So I haven't seen yours yet. Prom day. Austin's here. Hello, everyone. Hello, 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 hello. Yes, an EU friendly time. I mean, we haven't talked about it yet, but maybe for the next show, since we'll be going through the summer, maybe we will do an afternoon thing so we can have our Fridays evening free. I don't know. We haven't talked about it yet, but maybe we could. It might be something to consider. Sarah's also here. Yes, power. I mean, I don't know how to rank these people. I have people in an order, but like I can be convinced of anything at this point. Okay, so people are coming for the notion of throwing themselves in, and I know I don't agree, but we'll just talk it through. Hi, Amaya or Amaya. Wes threw himself in for Brad, even Evan for Kenny, and it happened before, but only when they feel they're confident they can win. I don't remember those specific times. Do you remember these times that they speak of?
I believe they are saying West threw himself in for Brad during All Stars 3 when Brad was nervous about going in against MJ, or MJ was going to pick him or something. Or no, it was Yes was going in or something. I don't know. I just remember West was like, I'll go in for you at this point. So again, that's a solo season. It's Wes who is going up against older competition, and I think yes, he is feeling confident to win, but I think it was also very calculated that yes was his biggest rivalry in that season, that he was willing to throw himself in to take out yes and then have a way easier path into the finals, or to the finals where he ultimately went to win. Evan, I don't remember throwing himself in just for Kenny. I know that in Rivals season 21, he threw a challenge to get sent directly into elimination so that he could go up against CT, where him and his alliance thought that he had the best shot
Oh, I
to
kind of remember.
winning that against CT, but ultimately it didn't happen. And Nehemiah was unfortunately at the back end of that competition, and he hated it. He hated Evan after that, rightfully so. He threw it without Nehemiah knowing, and then it sounded like he also threw the elimination because he had schooling that he had to get done and needed to be out of the season. So that was really unfortunate for Nehemiah. But that these are examples of early seasons where people didn't view this as a viable career, or didn't look at future future seasons and future alliances and all this other stuff, to where, I mean, they were doing a system in Cutthroat where Bananas and Derek were going back and forth on who was going to be sent in, and the episode he got sent in was the Bananas backpack episode against CT, and that's where Bananas was like, well, I'm never doing this again. I'm never going to put my name out there. I never want to, because you never know. You just never know. And I think that's where it's just the infuriating part, that this is so late in the game, and it's not for a specific reason of I got to take X person out to make it to the finals, or this is all based on, I don't care about this season. Ultimately, this is how I read it. I don't care about this season. I don't care about winning this season. I'm worried about saying Casey's name because of the alliance affiliations that we're going to have in 39 and 40 with each other. Or I'm worried about saying Jordan's name because I don't want him mad at me either, because he might be on those seasons as well. So
Yeah,
I'd rather go into elimination and sacrifice my own game because I don't want to say a name. And the same thing with Jordan. His whole reasoning is I don't want Tori to be in a bad spot. It's a game. It's basic voting mechanics. Just vote. Just do it. That's the whole point.
so Amaya is saying,
Sorry.
I get the point. I just think that people have selective outrage sometimes. LOL. No one should throw themselves in, period. I don't
I
think
agree.
it's selective outrage though. Like obviously, like if it's only affecting them, I'm just like, oh, that's dumb. But if it's affecting another partner and you're doing it to protect other people in the game that's not your partner, that's, I think, is infuriating. If they're in a team thing and they throw they make their team lose so they can get rid of their weakest link or whatever, like I don't particularly like that, because like, even in Survivor, if like there's a group challenge and people are like, oh, let's throw this challenge to get rid of something off our team, I hate that. I want people to always be playing to win regardless. When Jordan did it, it was like, whoa. But I was like, that's pretty stupid, especially since he went home. So the rage only comes when it's affecting another player. Otherwise, I just think it's stupid and I never think it should be done. So that's my point.
I
Go ahead.
100% agree. I mean, if it's like I said in my Tiny Table Talk, spoiler alert for Tiny Table Talk, which you can't do spoilers, but I said, like, if this was a solo season and Tori really felt the need that she needed to go in, or Jordan felt the need, have at it, have fun. I don't think it's smart. I don't think it's
Or
good
like tell her just
gameplay
to
to want
go
to do that.
home. Just be like, you know what? I can't play this game anymore because I have too many friends. I want to honor our friendship, so I'm gonna bow out. And then be like, Casey, can you be partners with Danny? Like, or some shit like that, you know? Like,
Yeah, so
so-
that's where but to not even take your partner into account, or get into a fight with them in front of everybody, or at least in front of somebody else, in out up, like, just to be like, we're going in, and then for that to not even come to fruition. It just felt like a waste, almost, to have this big fight for 10 minutes that we got to see between Jordan and Kaz, and then the conversation between Danny and Tori, to ultimately come down to stalemate. We know nobody's going in except Casey and Troy at this point. So that was fun, I guess. And it's just, yeah.
and then a lot of people being like, oh, well, like it's Danny's fault because he picked Tori as a partner. I would think that he would assume that Tori is going to want to win the game for herself. And so the fact that she doesn't, she would rather other people win the game more than her partnership. I'm sure that he's very upset with the fact that she picked him, regardless, or that he picked her, regardless of the fact that she's, wanting to protect her friends. Even if that was not part of the equation here, the fact that she's willing to throw herself into the game and risk his game, saying that she needs to feel proud of her game. Shut up, feel proud of your game. Like, you don't feel proud of the fact that you have been protecting your two closest allies here. Like, feel proud about that. Like, don't be like, oh, I need to go
Mhm.
improve something here to feel proud of my game. Like, the fact that you guys were protected on all sides was what this whole partnership has brought for you. And so now, like, you don't feel like you respect your game enough to deserve to win. Like, I agree with you over here. I hope production took notes, because if they don't care to win, they should not be invited. I want people that want to win the game, not want their friends to win. And that's just it.
Like 2 minutes before coming on, hitting live, I must have gotten off the window or something, but somebody left a really great comment. That somebody said that, why are the legends treating this like they're winning Monopoly money? Like, why aren't they taking this more seriously? And it's taking me out of the game, because the MVPs are trying their hardest to win. And that's true. I mean, we're not getting the money kind of thrown in our face, like TJ's not like, and your chance, and if you win this, you'll win your chance closer to that 550,000. Like, he never says like the money anymore every week. So it's almost like it is like a distant thing, but they are playing for life-changing money. And it is frustrating that it's just like, I'll send myself in. I'll volunteer. It's like, just play the game, vote. Do this is, and it's not even like they're the strategy. They're not getting hooked up on strategy or trying to stay out of eliminations. It's all about, what name can I say and what names can't I say? I can't vote. I don't want to vote. So let's go to a stalemate, because I don't even want to say names at this point, which is just a basic game mechanic, which is
And
just
then
infuriating.
also, though, like, they've been keeping each other in the game. So, like, now you're getting to the point where you have to say each other's name, which was at least where things could get interesting, right? Could be like,
Yeah.
okay, finally they're gonna have to eat each other, right? Like, it's best friend, challenge is gonna be done, and they're gonna have to say each other's name. Like, who is she gonna say between Casey and Jordan? Like, ooh, like, where there's the intrigue. Do you know what? I'm gonna remove any sort of intrigue of having to suffer through my best friend game, and I'm gonna throw myself in, because, like, I don't want to give the audience at least that for our pain and suffering. So annoying. Agreed. The
Yeah.
most frustrating part is that there are people who would do anything to win the show. Meanwhile, we get this cast. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, he's not a great partner. He might win the game, but he's not a great partner. He's really quite awful to Kaz. I don't really appreciate it. Now, what do you think about the daily? So in the daily, Jordan does pick up the wrong puzzle piece, which was it happened to be Darrell's and Kiki's, which means that they have to do an extra lap. He did ask Darrell, like, "Hey, Darrell, can you just go get one of my pieces?" And he's like, "No, I'm going to take this as good luck for me. And then we find out later in the episode that Jordan and Kaz made a deal with Emily and Yes. So do you think that that whole puzzle piece thing was just for show? Or do you think he actually was trying to win, made a mistake, and then it could look like he was honoring his deal?
I think the deal was for next week. I don't think
Oh,
that it was done for this week. I think that it was just an honest mistake. I think the idea that both Jordan and Kaz have to outpace an Olympic swimmer can kind of make you forget or like not like sit down and just be like, okay, make sure I'm grabbing the right puzzle piece. You're just like reaching, you find something that looks somewhat similar, you just grab it and go. And I think it was just an honest mistake because I will say that, I mean, I know he's done like some movie work and was on SWAT, but I truly like rewatching this episode like 3 times. I looked in the background to see what his reaction was to Emily and Yes, because you can see him in the background after they both call for checks, and Emily and Yes were just slightly before him. And when TJ was looking, he can see inside the box and it said 16. And he knew he put 16 in there. So when he said, "You got that correct, Emily, and yes, you win." I mean, before he said that, Jordan could see 16 in the box and he just throws up his chalk, being like, "I'm pissed. Like, I just lost this by like half a second. If I didn't have to take that extra lap, if I didn't make that mistake." So I don't think he threw it. I can see why people would say he threw it because Jordan has been so precise and does really well on like every challenge. I just think he was like rushing too much at one point, trying to outpace them. Um, Even though it was closer, slash they were able to go. They were ahead of them at one point, but they got lost.
hi, Danny. Jordan Kaz, what were we talking about with this answer?
I
Uh,
think that was when we were talking about who was Darrell and Kiki. Who would they have said if they got to
oh, okay,
choose?
okay, yeah. Thanks, Danny. That so yeah, I guess you are right there. Then that's who they would have taken. That would have been so good if that were the case. If they like, I mean, I do think most likely Jordan and Kaz would have won, but it would have been a nice upset.
I think so too. Also, I would feel like that would nullify their deal that they made. Like, hey, I won't say your name this time and you can throw the next daily. And then it's like, well, you didn't even have the choice to send me in. So I went in. I don't have to honor that deal. I'm gonna go try to win. But yeah.
What else happened this episode? Was that basically it? Just my fury over Tori and Jordan?
Um Basically, because once we get back to the house, it's all about I volunteer as tribute, no, I volunteer as tribute, big fight, and then um he asked Yes to throw. Okay.
That's interesting, Danny. Like, so Darrell was calling for Jordan. Okay. I would have liked to
I
have seen that.
I think I think that's a real mistake on looking back on it. I think that we can see emotions and maybe petty feelings of who won and who didn't win kind of show up here, because I do think at the end of the day, if I'm at Yes and Emily, Jordan and Kez has come in second place multiple dailies now, and they are, I think, a real threat coming down the line. And you have the shot of throwing in anybody. I mean, I'm down this close down the line. I mean, I think if Darrell and Kiki play the way they did in the elimination, I mean, anybody's beating them if they can't get that math problem correct. But at the end of the day, I'm gonna send in Jordan and Kaz at the end of the day, I think.
I would love to have seen that. I would have loved Danny or Darrell like asking for Jordan and Kaz. Like that would have been an interesting scene. Why didn't we get to see that?
Because we had to see people fight over nonsense.
Over nonsense. Now, what do you think that Sarah and Theo are doing this season? Like, I
Def-
haven't seen that much of them. Like, yes, they were kind of Sarah was pretty integral with like setting up some alliance stuff. Obviously, her relationship with Emily has served them really well, but we haven't really. I can't really tell like how they work as a duo. Like, I don't know. It's just kind of.
they work good enough is what I would describe it as. They're doing well enough in the dailies that they're not coming in last place, but not good enough to win anything to get into power. Maybe they don't even want to win into power. They're not getting in any drama at this point. I mean, they're being able to coast, So, yeah, that's how I view it.
The Yes and Jordan deal. I'm like, why are these making a deal with Jordan, the one team that for sure is gonna beat you? Like, definitely deal with the devil here.
Well, I also think that if Jordan wasn't on All Stars 3 before coming on to this season, maybe it would be different. But I remember listening to certain interviews. I think Yes said something about how he and Jordan just really talked a lot. Jordan, and Nia would like sit around and just talk about life and just stuff in general. And they gelled so well. So even if they weren't
yes.
coming in with like an actual deal, like to look out for each other throughout this whole season, I feel like Yes really likes Jordan and that he sticks to his word and that he can rely on him, that at this far into the game, he would rather make a deal with them.
Okay.
So that's where I think is the difference.
If they're buds, like we obviously didn't really see that. And yeah, I guess they did just kind of compete together. Okay, I give a slight pass there, but like it's just not a good idea though. Out of all teams, like he's the scariest, and like I know that Kaz isn't great at math, it seems, and maybe like puzzles and riddles, but she can run. She can, if they have to do like one-on-one combat type situation, she's got that down most likely. Like she's trained in that area. I just think that they're just so strong and it's scary.
I mean, honestly, I'm looking at the list. I just wrote down the names so I could remember when we were doing the power rankings because I don't know where to put any of these players, honestly. So, but if we look at the list, the teams that were left, all 6 teams that were left, I mean, the only teams that have won dailies at this point are Yes and Emily, Darrell and Kiki, and Jordan and Kaz. I mean, the rest of the US teams, or the former US teams, of which now is the amalgamation of Casey and Troy, US and Australia, I mean, they've won eliminations. Only Casey and Troy have won eliminations, but nobody else has really done anything to really move the needle outside of politics and social games. So if I'm Yes and Emily, I'm it's just based off of emotion. I just think it's fully based off of emotion. I got to take a shot at Troy and Kiki from Australia, and then they said my name like once or twice. It's like, why not throw in the other 2 teams that have won, taking out a definitive team that could win maybe the last daily challenge of the season heading into the finals and making your odds that much better. Even though Jordan and Kaz probably win that elimination, at least you sent in an opportunity to better yourself further.
So Danny was more disappointed that he didn't know about the deal, not that it happened. So was that the first time that you saw the deal when you saw it on the show? That's interesting.
It was late coming out. The Challenge Official podcast episode was late this past week, so I didn't get to listen to it before.
Looking for it. Who was on it? Do you remember?
Emily and Yes were on it.
Oh, both of them. Okay.
So I wonder from BBG95, I don't have my glasses on, but I have the screen zoomed in very quick. Very.
Let me file here.
Says, according to Yes, they were going to throw in Troy and Casey regardless, so they thought they would approach Jordan to see if they would take a bonus or take a deal or something.
Okay. Okay.
Which, if that's the case, then you already had your mind made up and Casey and Troy were going to be on the table anyways. Then that makes sense. But I still think that's the wrong move in hindsight.
Well, maybe if they, though, think that Jordan and Kaz are going to come back, like, do you want to have a mad Jordan who's capable of winning a daily and throwing you in?
At this point, though, it's what does it matter? There's like one elimination left. There's one daily left. I mean, you either win and you're in, or you're going to be on the table anyways. That's just my opinion. It's like you're this late in the game. Who cares who you piss off? I
Yeah.
mean, it's going to be you or them at the end of the day. So I don't know. You know what this kind of reminds me of? I don't know why. Maybe because I just rewatched the season not too long ago, but it's like the closer we got to the end of season 22 X's, and you have CT and DM in power, and they're going back and forth on whether to send in Johnny and Camilla or Paula and Dunbar against Ty and Emily. And it's like they're going back and forth, and for some reason, because of the connections that DM had with Bananas, and that she thought she could take Camilla in an elimination, which I don't know if that's the case, but she's like, I want to throw in Paula and Dunbar. And it's like, and ultimately that comes back to get them, because they do get to send in Johnny and Camilla, but then they make a deal with Mark, who they've been working with that whole season, to throw the last elimination. And it's like, you got to take the chances. You got to know who you're playing against, who the teams are. Friendships have got to kind of go out the window by this time of the game. And you got to play to win. And that's where I think the frustrations are but I mean, I guess you can't take emotion out of the game. And I think, yeah.
I also think, yes, like, ooh, are they playing for 500,000 or $1 million? I can't remember.
500,000.
Ooh, big. It is a life-changing amount of money. But I still think that because the amount of money is so big, it has actually neutered the gameplay, right? Because now people are more scared to leave the show, and not, like, when they're playing for BMX bikes, it was like so much more cutthroat. Literally, the season was called Cutthroat. Like, they're playing for like projectors and like, season tickets to hockey games. Like,
yeah, I remember that.
It literally like was nothing, but they were playing ruthlessly. And I think, the fact that it's such a big amount of money, I think it's also stifling gameplay, which it makes me wonder, is there something broken here with the prize allotment? Like how much they're getting, whether they're getting a first, second, and third place type thing, the fact that they're allowed to make this new tradition of gifting the second and third place, like all these things.
Well, I think it's dumb for them to be gifting money, because that's just enabling not sending people home. I don't care if I send, say, Jordan home, because if he makes it to the end and ultimately wins it, he'll cut me a $30,000 check. So I'm cool with that if that's the end. So it's like, it's just allowing players bad habits of like, we get to have to go forward. Like, gifting money is just really, really bad. Like, that was probably the worst decision ever decided on the challenge in recent seasons. I don't know why they decided to think that was cool or whatever. It was absolutely asinine. And now with Tori and Devin winning last season and just doing it out of the blue, now it's like whoever doesn't do it the next season is the a-hole, while everybody else was doing it before them. It's like, no, you just need to say you won the money. And if you give up any of it or try to gift it away, then you just forfeit the whole thing, because that's just ridiculous.
Well, and also, though, since like the US, if I'm not mistaken, has more gaming laws, right? Like, wouldn't this kind of be like if people are betting on a game of some sort, and then the team is like throwing or forfeiting their game in order to get a certain outcome? Like, isn't this actually going against gaming laws and rules?
Yeah, could be.
Because like if you're saying like, hey, I'm not going to try that hard because I want a particular outcome, so a particular person will win this season and then will be gifting me this season $38,000. Like, I don't know, there's something that seems a little bit wrong here, or illegal in the gaming sense.
I mean, we talk about this now, but I mean, this happened back in season 17, the Duel 2, where when Landon was eliminated and it was the last three of Brad, Evan, and Mark, they agreed that whoever won, it didn't matter. We'll just pool all the money together for second and third, and then we'll split it up evenly. And that's why you have Mark, who is kind of just like walking through the finals. He'll gladly take Anissa as the partner through the back half of the game. He doesn't really care. He'll gently walk because he knows, like, I've already won this game like twice at this point. I'm here just to prove that I can do it. But if I don't have to exert more energy and I don't care
why
about first place
bother?
or second place, like, I'll just put less effort into it and I'll walk across that finish line and get the same amount of money as Evan and Brad, who are really kind of like trying to win because they just want to get that first place
title.
next to their name, especially Brad, who had done so many seasons and hadn't won at that point. So they squashed it at a certain point, or players weren't willing to do that up until a certain point.
They
But
probably
now
said
it's
it
like
wasn't
so worse
allowed.
now.
It shouldn't
Yeah.
be allowed. Like in a lot of other shows, like even like Big Brother, for instance, you're not allowed to say that you're splitting the prize money. That's actually like in the rule book of like a no. So I think that production needs to make some considerations on how this series is going to move forward, because this isn't working. So Bianca's saying that she hopes that the teams split up so that Danny can run a solo final. What do you think? How do you think the structure of the final is going to be? Do you think they're just going to be stuck in their game? In their duo, I mean?
Every time I see Solo Dolo, I think of Kid Cudi. I think that would be super interesting. I just don't think I don't think they will split it up, but it would make things a lot more interesting. But it just depends on who survives heading into there, you know? And right now we have no idea. I think there's certain outcomes that I could see happening. But the top two teams, in my opinion, at this point are the Tori and Jordan scenario, and they're not willing to say each other's names. They don't want to say each other's names. And I think they stand in each other's way, which is like, that's why you should take the opportunity to try to get them out. But it's ridiculous.
Hi, Matthews. Matthew says Tori and Jordy should not be on the same season moving forward. Strips strategy from the game, and relationship drama has gotten stale. I'm so bored. I don't know if you saw, but Tori started a podcast and Jordan was on it, and like I won't even watch. I can't. Have you watched?
Did she start it, or was that, didn't she have a podcast
Or
beforehand?
I don't know. I just saw that she put like a clip on, I think it was Instagram or something.
Really? That's why it's being recommended to me, because I listened to the Challenge Official podcast, and then her show, I thought I've seen it like before, but I never listened to it. But Spotify's like, hey, you might like this if you like this. And I'm like, that
How
old
dare
show?
you?
I don't think she's even put up an episode for 3 years, but maybe she put up new episodes, and that's why it's being recommended to me.
Is Spotify calling you out? Are you a Tory stan? And like they know, but
I wouldn't listen to the Challenge Official podcast if I didn't think it would help out my Tiny Table Talks or add some perspective.
Yeah.
And so that's what I think kind of screws with me, is that Spotify's like, yo, she's semi co-host, even though she hasn't hosted an episode in like 30 of these or 50 episodes, but maybe you like this. Yeah, Monday. She put out a 9-minute episode on Monday.
I don't know when I saw the little clip, but like she was like really excited welcoming Jordan as her guest.
Oh man.
Like, I rolled my eyes, unfortunately.
Everybody, she has a 13-minute episode from February 20th saying being a challenge champ. So she has 13 minutes of her thoughts on being a challenge champ. So
are you saying that Tori is not the person that you're doing your new 3-part breakdown of their entire series?
Or maybe I am, and now I have to go listen to all of her 13-minute, 22-minute episodes that she's just of her just random thoughts.
Oh, okay. So this, I think Maya suggested this, but Ruth Dog is reminding me. So Maya was saying maybe we should do a season alliance versus alliance versus alliance. So we're saying Vacation Alliance versus like Kara's Cult versus like Lavender Ladies or something. and like those would be the teams. And then there would be like the outliers. So it'd be like the Wes and like the people that never really, or like the Evelyn, people that never really get sucked into an alliance. They're always just like trying to pin the alliances against each other, or be separate from them. You're
That'd be
smiling.
interesting. I don't know if there's some of the alliances wouldn't have less members to them, so that'd be pretty intriguing. The
maybe
Young Bucks,
then Young Bucks in there. There's not
Young
that many
Bucks,
Young Bucks.
They need to grab some more people. Maybe the Jeremiah and Kells that they try to get in.
Yeah, there's a few people
Fessy,
that would.
But he's in the Vacation Alliance too.
Fessy's in Vacation. I don't want Fessy to have like two alliances.
Also,
Holy Trinity, right?
Oh yeah.
That means Anissa. No, Anissa can't come back on.
Anissa's not in the Holy Trinity.
Well, remember she was like the fourth person in the Holy Trinity, kind of.
That's not a Holy Trinity.
She's like she was upset, remember, because like they had their threesome, but like she was like she wanted to be a part of it. Anyways, I can't remember exactly.
I don't know who's the Mother, the Daughter, and the Holy Spirit of the Trinity, but whatever Nani is, maybe the daughter. She threw a cup of noodles at Anissa, so I don't know if Anissa is
Mother
a part of that. She's maybe she's Mary. I don't know. Amaya, you bring up a good point. Tori is filming USA 2, so those episodes are pre-recorded. Boo! I'm listening to old thoughts that she had. She just took an afternoon to record from her phone 13 minutes to 9 minutes to 22-minute just thoughts that she had. So
but I know that she was not in the Holy Trinity. I know that's Kayla, Jenna, and Nani, but I just remember that like she was like the fourth member, she was like the fourth person. She thought that she was part of that group, but not officially being in that named alliance.
She hangs out with like all of them anyways, so
Save the Palace, not Safety Palace. That'd be actually the Palace would be a good group to come in there. I know they're from All Stars now, but
they have to have their walk-up music on. That'd be great.
Safety Palace, Safety Palace. I remember loving that song. It was so catchy. Okay, well, so we've been avoiding the inevitable here. And that is doing these power rankings, because I don't really know where to put people. I'm kind of guessing to a certain extent. But let's talk a little bit about Darrell and Kiki, since they were eliminated this episode. So what you got to say about our last darlings to be eliminated from the season?
Hate to see him go. They did not have a good episode whatsoever. Everything was against them, from the long swims to apparently there's a rumor going around that maybe it was confirmed that Jordan and Emily, once they got the answers, were handing out the answers like candy to everybody to save their own teammates and alliance members. So that way Darrell and Kiki were on their own, and they were already behind, and they were ultimately just destroyed because they just didn't have the numbers to help them out, to give them the answer at the end, to keep them safe. And so that's disheartening. And then they just weren't able to work well in the elimination. You hope that if you have a bad day, that it's just for the daily challenge, but it somehow leaked into the elimination as well. And I just felt like this was the season. Like, besides Double Agents, when Darrell and Amber were doing really, really well, but all the numbers were against him in that season. I thought
and then they switched up that elimination. Like, before it was like, who's going to be able to outlast by like digging into the sand and just like inch by inch it. And then they turned it into a sprint against Corey, who's a super speedy sprinter. So I thought that was a completely it was unfortunate for Darrell, unlucky for sure, that they just didn't do that elimination the same way that they had at least once, but I think they did it twice before that season. Sorry,
no, it's all good. But yeah, I just thought that if Darrell and Kiki could even just like make it to the next like top 5, they could have a real good shot of getting into the finals. And I know it would have been kind of a long shot because they are the underdog. I just felt that they were such a great pair. They had great chemistry with each other. They worked well with each other the whole time. Their entertainment value was so high, and I wish that they would have been able to go further. So, yeah, I'm really sad to see them go, and the way they went out was tough to watch. But yeah.
Yes, Lena here saying that Kiki said on the official podcast that she has dyslexia as well. So Darrell had to do all the math on his own. And from how he was explaining how he was doing the math, I was hearing that it's like a new age style of how to do math instead of just doing it like normal, where you just like multiply the first number and then multiply the second number with these numbers and then add them up, like pretty basic. And I think he would have been able to do that in the sand, but he was doing like 30 times 6 and then you hold that and then you add the like too complicated when you don't have a piece of paper and you're not particularly good at math in your head. So I was pretty upset that this is how they went out because I really wanted to see them run the final. They were the last team, in my opinion, that are rootable on both ends, you know, like both the guy and the girl are someone that I'm rooting for. Everybody else is like one person kind of that I'm rooting for on each team. So super sad to see them go. Do you think that Kiki will cross over to the main season?
I hope so. I thought she came out firing. I think she was highly underrated going into Challenge Australia. I think for us in the US, we had no idea what she could bring to the show or how she would fare, and she did incredibly well in that season. And then coming into this season, you also had to wonder what she would do compared to the Legends and other teams that they were formed. And she blew, I think, everybody's expectations out of the water, which was incredible. And yeah, I think she would be a valuable member to add to the flagship show, and that she would be incredible. She could become an incredible person to just see over and over and root for.
100%, because I love that she's not afraid of going against like the power. Like she's just like, and then she's good. Like she usually goes down and she comes back out and wins. So I would love to see her do a crossover. You know, she does live in Australia, so maybe that's not feasible, but I would like her to get the call. So hopefully she'll be on 39. Now the real question is, who do you have in your 6th position?
Sad to say, I have the other Australian team of Casey and Troy. They've seen 2 eliminations so far with each other, and it just seems like they're on the bottom of the hierarchy out of everybody. I think that out of I know Tori and Jordan aren't super thrilled to want to say their names, but if it came down to it, I could see Yes and Emily, Sarah and Theo saying their names, or anybody saying their names. So I hate it because I actually am rooting for Troy and Casey without all of her numbers and having to coast through this season and actually having to see her in multiple eliminations and kind of be bottom of the tier list is actually making me kind of want to root for them and kind of be like, because can I just say, I really enjoyed Casey's confessional after coming back from the daily challenge, and Jordan's like, I don't want to see your name, Casey. Me and Kaz will be the one, and I'll tell Tori to say my name too. And Casey's like, in the confessional, just being real. Like, this wasn't like a curated, like, here's the rules to the daily or here's the rules to the elimination. This is what's at stake. No, she is just telling us what is the real case. And she's like, sometimes Jordan just likes to talk. And I'll believe it when I see it. If I was Tori or Tori was in this position, I 100% think Jordan sends himself in to save her. But with me, not so much. And I was like, that is probably the most real thing I've ever heard Casey say. And she's like, has no, like, she's just down to earth. That was such down to earth way of thinking about things. And it was so real. And I was just like, you know what? I really want Troy and Casey after they won this. I felt like they were the most relatable. I want to see them go far. I want to see them make it into the finals so badly. I want to root for them, even though
they're the team that I'm kind of rooting for the most. surprisingly, just because Casey has not irritated me that much this season. She hasn't been, just part of like the big alliance. Like she actually, has had some confessionals. She's had to go down into elimination, and she's been successful. So like I've been seeing Casey in a different light this season, and it could be because she's not on there with Nani. And it could be because she's not on Team USA anymore. She's had to fight a little bit harder, and so I think that I enjoy Casey the most this season than I have on any other show or season that she's been on. So I enjoy her more here than on Big Brother. Enjoyed her more here in this season than her last 2 seasons. So do you think Nani is the reason why we like her more right now? Like, because Nani's not on with her. And we do know that she's not going to be on 39 because her and Nani are taking a break.
I think it's more that we're seeing a different side of her that we've never had to see. And that is somebody who is getting targeted, someone who can't just hide behind numbers or shadows or anybody or like I don't think it's Nani specifically, but it's the idea that she has always Josh, Fessy, and Nani, and with them comes Bananas, whoever Fessy is really into that season, and then all of Josh's friends and everything. So I just feel like she's becoming a little bit more like, I don't know, just her being the underdog and not somebody who is looking threatening to be, because nobody wants to see her in elimination. No woman wants to go up against her. This kind of is like, no, nobody's really that afraid of her. They're willing to test her, and she's coming out and actually doing well with her partners, whoever the partner was, whether it was Ben or with Troy. And I understand, Dabu, that she, how do I dislike the Vacation Alliance but want Casey to win? I didn't say I necessarily wanted Casey to win. I want to see them make it to the finals. And I think it's because they are the underdog. Yes, they are in the Vacation Alliance, but we know that she's at the bottom of Jordan and Tori's alliance, that they have each other ahead of themselves. Then you have Danny and Sarah looking out for Emily, where there's really nobody that's going to be risking their neck for Troy and Casey, or you're going to have, I guess, Tori wanting to vote herself in anyways. So maybe she does have, I don't know. This is getting too confusing this late in the game. I would highly doubt anybody says, I would guarantee a stalemate next week in the voting ceremony before we see even another vote.
I think it has to be a stalemate because of the number of, there's going to be 3 teams voting, right? And then we were talking about this before. 3 teams voting. And they're all going to vote 2 teams. So they're going to be, unless they only vote for 1 team. If they're voting for 2 teams, it'll be a stalemate. If they vote for 1 team, then they can gang up on someone.
I guess so.
Matthew's saying here, I bet Casey will still be on 39. Their break is just going to be for All Stars 4 and CBS 2. Matthew. Okay, I agree. I have them in the same position here. Wait, is there 4? Wait, so we're at 5 teams left now after this episode, correct?
Yes,
so this
correct.
Is placement number 5. Yeah, I mean, they are on the bottom of whatever alliances that are happening. Yes, she was originally on Team USA, but she's no longer there. She's on Team Australia. We know that Emily and Yes are willing to say their name, even though they're on Australia as well. So if they win power, they're going to do their best to get Troy and Casey in there again. And I wouldn't be surprised if Sarah follows suit, and potentially even Danny following suit, Danny and Tori, for the fact, well, maybe not because of the whole Casey thing, but you know what I mean, with the fact that they are Danny is protecting Emily, and Yes, to a certain degree, they're working together. So I do think there is a likelihood that they're going to be going in and potentially going out right before the final. It's very possible. So I have them in number 5.
I also agree with somebody's thoughts that this could be the most important. I can't find the comment. I think it moved. But I think this is going to be the most important daily challenge that I wonder if TJ is going to say that you punch your ticket to the final, you are safe, and you get to send in anybody directly until the end. So we may not even have a vote that if you come in last place, you're going directly in, and whoever wins into power has just all the power to send in somebody to the very last elimination, which I can see that being the twist at the end instead of like you were saying, everybody's just going to burn vote on each other and then it becomes a stalemate anyways. So they might just jump ahead and just say, you know what, we're going to treat this like a stalemate. And I think that would be a pretty decent way of going about it.
Yeah, I can see actually them changing it up like that. Yeah, it would make a lot of sense for it just be like, you win, you get the power, you lose, you're going in. Winner, yeah, but that's just the same as a stalemate would have been, right? Is that the winner gets to choose who's going in. So we're kind of coming back to the same point. Hello, Glenda. Never late, always right on time. No worries. Okay,
we actually did just start the power ranking, so you're definitely not late. This is the 5th team that we have.
we had a little bit of a rant, but we don't have that many teams to get through. So, okay, who did I put in my next spot? Let's say here, not that. Sorry, one sec. I can't remember who I put here. Okay, yes, I went for the other Australian team. I put Yes and Emily in the 4th position here. Now, yes, I find them to be quite strong, but they almost didn't win the daily. Like Jordan and Kaz were able to get an extra lap in and still be coming in right underneath the button. So like, yes, they're strong. Yes, they have been winning dailies, but I don't know if they're great at anything other than what was the other daily that they won?
They won. The season isn't that long. I should know. Not Rocket Man. That was the other swimming daily that they didn't win. What was the other one?
They won another one, right?
No, it was the math one. It was the math one.
Oh, right, where they had to go down with the flags. Right.
Yeah, Yes was tied up. Yeah. And he had the mental math.
And so, yeah, he was just shouting out the math equation. So, yes, he's obviously very smart and good at math, and they are a strong team. I do think that they got to the final, they would be contenders for sure. But I don't know if they're that great at like the dailies, like doing these strange things. They haven't been excelling that much in a variety of different daily challenges. So I just don't know how well they're going to do. And I could easily see them being in last place for the next daily.
So I did not have Yes and Emily next.
Okay.
I had Sarah and Theo next. Because like we were talking about, you were asking what do they are as a team? What do they have done in the show? And realistically, it's just chilling. That's all they've been doing. They haven't really shown us a whole bunch, except that they are great socially. Nobody wants to take a shot at them. Maybe it's because they're intimidating. Maybe it is that they are both very physical specimens, and that nobody wants to actually do anything to piss them off, or that they're so well insulated. But at the end of the day, I mean, they haven't done anything. At least Yes and Emily have won. They've shown that they can win dailies. The next daily in the preview looks to be another water-based challenge as well. And I don't think at this point I can disregard Emily and Yes's wins. I do have them at 3 though, so we're not.
I have them switched too. So I can ride with you for the fact that Yes and Emily have proven at least to be able to win dailies. Even though it seems like they might go out next, I can see that they could be considered stronger for the fact that they've been able to work together to at least win a couple. And you're right. I didn't see what the preview was for the next daily, but if there's more swimming involved, like chances are, since Theo can't swim or can't swim well, that they're going to probably do better than these two. So maybe Theo and Sarah will be in the bottom next week.
I could see, though, like, if we want to make a discussion about whether they should be third or fourth, I mean, I could see a realm of, like, say Jordan and Kaz do pull out the win next week and don't throw it for Yes and Emily. And if Jordan and Kaz win, I could easily see them saying Yes and Emily, since they were kind of dead set on wanting to send them in next this past week anyways, if they didn't win. So, I mean, in a world where Yes and Emily don't win and the top team has all the power to send in anybody, I mean, even if it's Danny and Tori winning, and if, say, like, anybody like Casey and Troy or anybody realistically, if anybody else is like lost and Danny and Tori are winning, I could see them saying Yes and Emily over Jordan and Kaz, Casey and Troy, or Sarah and Theo, because that's where their closest ties are. And so that they would say Yes and Emily at the end of the day, or Jordan and Kaz would definitely say Yes and Emily, and probably Casey and Troy would probably say Yes and Emily at this point, since they both despise her and Yes for sending them directly in after the stalemate. So I could see where their power, if they don't win, that they could be going into an elimination if they don't lose and go directly in this upcoming week. So maybe they should be at fourth at that point. I just feel like with them winning, they have a better shot in my mind of winning, more so than maybe Sarah and Theo, who really haven't done a whole lot.
I'm gonna agree with you here. I'm gonna put Sarah and Theo in fourth position. Like I swapped them like you did, just for the fact that, like, Emily and Yes have proven themselves to be a good working partnership. And yeah, I think Sarah and Theo are strategically and aligned better, but I think that there's a more likelihood that Yes and Emily will win power to keep them safe. And so I think that is more advantageous at this point in the game.
Yeah.
So that means in third place, we have, it was the other two. So Yes and Emily in third. Who do you have in second place?
I know that they've been on. Well, so my second place is Danny and Tori. They have worked better as of late. They seem to be able to communicate better. I think they have now, with limited options on the table, that they have been able to figure out
She's
a way
worn him down. The poor guy's just like, God, I can't do this anymore. This sucks. Like, I can't argue and fight over stupidness. We're trying to win a game together and you're fighting for your best friend. Like, it's annoying.
Yeah, pretty much. But kind of like what I was saying with Yes and Emily versus Sarah and Theo, if it came down to it, I think that they would be able to win a daily, but comparatively to who I would put at first right now, with is Jordan and Kaz this far into the game, with only one more daily, one more elimination, you have to take multiple chances at getting Jordan out of the game. And it just feels like I'm not going to bet against a 3-time champ at this point, this late in the game. Yes, he almost won to send himself in, but luckily him and Kaz have been able to get back on the same wavelength, the same page. They were able to make this deal, and they just besides Yes and Emily, they're the only team that has won a daily out of this group, and they've came in second multiple times. I mean, this was actually really impressive that they were able to keep up and actually do an extra lap and get just a millisecond behind getting a check and winning this behind Yes and Emily, who had this in the bag. They had a good head start while Jordan and Kaz were having to do an extra lap, and then they almost won. And then Danny and Tori not doing so well in the daily, to where, I mean, they were, at least Tori was given the answer to then be like, just try 16. like that wasn't plainly obvious of being like, yeah, I think you were told the answer. So luckily they're not on different pages. They seem to be on the same page, and I don't think we're going to get another send me in kind of vibe for next week. So I have Danny and Tori at number 2 and Jordan and Kaz at number 1.
I agreed with that. So we only had one little flipperoo. with our order. We ended up going with your order because you convinced me that's true. Yeah, Danny and Tori, like I do think that they're in the second position here. They haven't won a daily. Yes, they've been working a little bit better together, but like she still wanted to throw her in. I can't like throw herself in as a team. I'm like, how is the team move, Tori? It's just so selfish. And so like there's no way, well, I don't think so, that Danny's gonna throw himself in because he doesn't want to say Sarah's name. He's gonna be like, Sarah, you know the game that we're playing. I have to say your name here. And she's gonna be with it. She's not gonna be like, oh my god, next season that we play together, we're not working together because you had to say my name. Like, there's no way she's gonna care. She's gonna know that that's part of the mechanics of the game. You have to say people's name, and throwing yourself in is the biggest eye roll, and it makes me dislike you. So stop making me dislike you, Tori. I'm trying to like you. But you make it so challenging. Anyways, that's why they're in second place for me here. They do have potential to maybe win a daily, but they haven't done so yet. And I'm going to have to give credit where credit's due. Even though he did try to throw himself in, he's still winning. And he came in second here, where he should have been in like a far out in front in first place. I didn't know that Yes was such a poor swimmer that like Jordan and Kaz could almost like lap them. That's wild to me. Because I just thought that Yes was a fine swimmer, but I guess not. Anyways, I think that they, even though they're not really working that well together in a partnership, they seem to have come around by the end of this week's episode. I think that they are going to be the team to beat in the final. I think that they're getting there for sure. And I can see him, what is his fourth win under his belt? Or third? Fourth?
I guess fourth, yeah. Because he's won 3 main seasons.
And Kaz is second, and she's only done 1 elimination and been victorious. So her stats are pretty good. Do you think she's going to go on to the main show?
It'd be cool. It'd be cool to see her back on the main show. Maybe have Theo come back as well. Maybe have a good revolving cast here.
Or maybe they should just do X's then. Let's just do an X's. So Jordan and Tori could be on there together.
maybe if they were
Bananas X be. God, I can't see all these people again. No, I don't want it. No, change my mind.
Maybe if they were paired up together, they wouldn't be as insufferable because they're dragging other people into their BS. But maybe them together and they both want to say they want to throw themselves in, they can do it. They can just do it. Who cares? Do it.
I don't want to say Casey's name, so I'm throwing yourself in. So just a little recap here. In 5th place, we got Troy and Casey. And 4th here, Theo and Sarah. 3rd place this week is Yes and Emily. 2nd, Danny and Tori. And in the number 1 position is Jordan and Kaz. I'm happy with this.
Bianca has it correct. Mariah would be the go-to.
I think he would go with Mariah as well.
I think out of all of his exes, I think it was actually like pretty decent breakup. Like it wasn't as messy as his other breakups have been. So
I mean, it might be good if he went on with Morgan.
I think it's better that he has Mariah because maybe she would still be lumped into whatever Fessy's doing, and that would be a shield as well. That would be a shield for him.
Stop it, Drew. What are you saying? We don't want this. We don't want Fessy to have more power. No.
Then we have Jay and Olivia partnered up together, or Olivia and Nelson partnered up with each other.
Oh,
it's just the same season. It's the same 38, but they're all partnered up with each other.
Shuffle. Wendell and Michelle, that would be a good duo. But
that would actually be fun.
Tipped into the challenge pool yet? Dipped.
That'd be fun.
That'd be good. Bananas and Angela. Okay. Yeah. I like Angela.
I think Angela would be more apt to being Nelson's ex since they were
That's true. They were on Dr. Phil together. That's true.
Johnny and Nerys. Let's go.
That's a good duo, but like they won't have any power though.
Oh, Tyler and Angela. Oh man.
I mean,
Oh baby.
that could be
Oh
good.
baby.
Yeah, we should do a full stream where we like make our dream exes season.
It would never happen, but what if? Just think, what if Cara and Kyle were partnered up with each other? Let's go.
And what, like Polly and what's that girl? Natalie? They dated, right?
Let's be real. Just let's make it happen. Like, I know you don't like each other, either one of them, or at least they're cordial enough to not like trash each other on social media, but give the people what they want, and that is Kyle and Cara put together. Like, just let's just do it. You know, let's just do it.
Please.
That'd be pretty fun. That'd be pretty fun.
So fun.
Honestly.
Yeah, do it for the fans. Yes. That would be so good. Yeah, Jordan has a lot of exes. Jordan and Laurel would be no, but he has to be with Tori. We just need to like if they're be fighting, I want them to be fighting and be on the same team. I don't want their messiness to interfere with anybody else.
One X.
Oh yeah, back in the day.
We have not, like, they have not touched at all, but I think they should, and it would probably get CT back into the fold of everything. CT and Laurel. Put them on a pairing together, and I bet you he runs into it. Yeah, yes. Kellyanne and Wes would be really, really fun. They didn't do an X with them, and that would be really, really fun to watch.
Jordan was with Emily?
I heard they hooked up like outside of the show. So
Johnny and Jordan, I think that was a while ago. It was the same season where Sarah's partner grabbed Mandy's boobs, right? Or like her bra or something, right? It was that same season?
No, that was the first X's. They hooked up with each other on X's 2 or Rivals 2. I think Rivals 2.
Wes and Johanna. I think Wes and Kellyanne would be more fun.
Yeah, I would definitely say Wes and Kellyanne. Please, please, please.
Melissa and Danny, I'd take it. Ooh, then would you take what about
No Danny. No Danny.
What about what's his name? Brad and Tori, original Tori.
Never again. I know. They would never.
Or Brad and what's the blondie's name? Brittany. Brad and Brittany, I'd be okay with. She's pretty messy. Kellyanne said she won't do exes. Say what?
Even Johanna with Wes as a partner?
She might now that she's back in the fold, right? And she's played a couple games now with Wes.
I mean, that would be fun. I mean, come on now. Kellyanne and Wes would be such a fun duo. Like, Kellyanne, the way that she is not predictable and Wes wants everything to be predictable, they would be the perfect, like, exes partnership because it would just be so much fun to watch. It would be so chaotic. I would love it.
I think it has to be Amanda and Fessy, to be honest. I know that we don't necessarily want Fessy, but, like, Amanda and Fessy, I might be able to work with. You're like, no.
I mean, you could put Fessy with anybody. So, I mean, if we could get Joss back on this show any way possible, I would say yes, please put Amanda and Joss together and then put Fessy with like the other 8 or 9 women.
Also have a thing with Sylvia, or were they just flirting?
I don't think they've had anything, maybe. I mean,
Nani
technically,
and Dustin? Nani and Kahada would be cute.
Technically, we could have Kyle with like Sylvia or Kyle with Marie.
Actually, Devin and Marie needs to happen.
That's true.
Yeah, that. Wait, he went on to X on the Beach, right?
Yeah, that was X on the Beach.
Was it the snowy season? Peak of Love?
No. That wasn't the snowy season.
Wait, it was a season. Oh no, it was a season with get Danity Kane chick. What's her name? Blonde, boobs. She can be annoying, but I actually don't hate her. Dated Pauly D.
I don't know.
You know, Danity Kane. Someone will tell me in the chat. What's her name? Blonde. Danity Kane. She was on, obviously, like MT. Aubrey O'Day. Yes, thank you, lovable Nikki. But it was that season. Then she was hooking up with the guy from Big Brother that was dating the blonde from Big Brother. Anyways, I can't remember his name right now.
I can't remember.
All right. This would be fun. Oh, I'm glad to say Fuzzy Fuzzy if he goes after bananas, Danny, Devin, and Tori. No, he won't. I'll even change my name to Fessy Stan. It's not happening. He's a wuss. He's a wussy wussy wuss. Theo and Cam. Ooh. Strong. That could be good, but I don't know if it would happen now that like she's in like a full-on relationship with child. Like, I don't know. It's a little disrespectful, but that's all we got for you today. Do you have anything else you want to say about this episode or these our ideal team game?
I feel really bad because the only person I could think Corey could come onto the season would be with Anissa. That's all I could think of.
Kayla. I guess she's married, but Kayla.
Oh yeah, Kayla.
Kayla would be better.
Maybe. Maybe.
Or I guess I was gonna say, but she's not gonna be back on the show. But that if she wasn't a horrible person, oh my god, her name is escapes me. You know,
I was thinking of eligible players to be on the show.
Yeah.
Ashley, yeah. Corey, and Ashley happened. I don't think that. I thought they were rivals.
Yeah, that's the person I couldn't remember their name. I guess for a good reason. Well, thank you, Angelcake. What do you have going on your channel that you would like the people to tune into or look forward to?
I'm working on videos for all of May. I got a good chunk of videos going out starting next week, and by the end of this month / at the end of this season, which will be in a couple of weeks, I'm planning to putting out that series. It's going to be a 3-part series of me ranking all the challenge seasons 1 through 38, where I go 38 through 1. And I'm hoping to get all that out, and then I'm going to put all of them together, and it's probably going to be like a 2.5 to 3 hour video. So that's going to be a lot of fun. But I have a lot of content coming out in May, and also a lot of thoughts for June. So keep on the lookout at Angelcake, youtube.com/AngelcakeVids.
Angelcake Vids, absolutely. Corey and Ashley hooked up on the Real World. Ashley was also pretty nasty to him on the Real World, so I don't know if that would be a good partnership, but they've worked together since.
Well, Corey was super excited to have her as his partner in Double Agents. So, I mean, if he wants a puzzle queen, there's none better than Ashley at this point, for him at least, if you're looking at the rest of his stuff.
CT and Siobhan, he wouldn't go back to play with Siobhan.
I don't think Siobhan wants to come back.
Yeah, I don't think so.
I'm telling you, Ashley, CT and Laurel. CT and Laurel would be
that's the duo.
Dominant.
That's the duo. That's
CT wouldn't go into eliminations normally, but then if you have a partner in Laurel next to him, like, watch out. They're like the tallest people, and they will mow over anybody.
Yes.
They will legit smash heads and eat them in the elimination.
Yes, smash heads and eat them. Yes. Well, thank you, Drew, for being here today. And thanks, everybody, for joining us on our earlier time spot here in the afternoon. We appreciate you and all your comments, and that you tune in every week to hear us talk incessantly about the challenge. It is our favorite show, regardless of what you may think. We will always be watching and covering it in some capacity. So thank you for being on our journey with us. Please subscribe to this channel, Reality Realness with 3 S's, as well as Angelcake Entertainment channel. Like this video and let us know if we got it right. Did we get this order right this week? Are you okay with who we have in the top spot and the bottom spot? Let us know how you feel about these rankings, and also let us know who you want to win and who you think is going to win this season. No spoilers, just thoughts, pure thoughts. Otherwise, we'll see you next week. Ciao, everybody.